by saying that in order to establish moral order in the state, one must first guide his family properly. Is this one cannot convince others of what he cannot convince the members of his own family. Therefore, the wise governor does not need to go beyond his family in order to find the principles needed for governing his state. Here he finds his own son's respectful obedience to his father, with which a governor should be served. Affection for one's relatives, with which higher officials should be treated, and paternal kindness, with which all people should be regarded. And this is from Great Learning 9.1, Confucianism. And now on page 929, when the family's declines, ancient traditions are destroyed. With them are lost the spiritual foundations for life, and the family loses its sense of unity. Where there is no sense of unity, the women of the family become corrupt, and with the corruption of its women, society is plunged into chaos. Social chaos is hell for the family and for those who have destroyed the family as well. And this is from Bhagavad Gita 1.1, verses 40 to 41 from Hinduism. And now we have the teachings of our Father, Reverend Son Myung Moon. The family is the most important school in human life, for it is the school of love. And this is from a speech on August 22, 1995. The family is the training ground of the heart. You are trained in brotherly and sisterly love, so treat your classmates in school and that same heart, and your fellow citizens in the nation with that same heart. Hence, the education your parents give you to be loving brothers and sisters is for the sake of the school, the community, and the nation. Parents should bequeath their heart and sensibility to their children and descendants. As parents, you are role models. But this involves more than teaching by example. By your love, you are laying the emotional foundation for your children so that they are able to live for the family, the community, and the nation. And this is a speech made on August 22, 1988. The ideal family is a school. It is also a textbook. The husband and wife are its joint authors. When their children can live by the lessons from that textbook, they can make it anywhere in the world. This is a formula, and this is from a speech on April 22, 1984. The family is a textbook for attaining the kingdom of heaven. God prepared it for human beings as an instruction manual for connecting with Him. If you take its lessons and apply them to the nation, you become pages. Apply them to the world and you become saints. Apply them to heaven and earth and you become the divine sons and daughters of God. And this is from a speech on December 18, 1985. Morals are the universal virtues acquired by training in the family. The Chinese character for virtue contains the character 10 with the shape of a cross whose vertical and horizontal lines symbolizes heaven and earth. Hence, the entire universe as well as man and woman, two beings. Next, it has the character of 4, which represents the 4 foundation, position foundation, then 1 and mind or heart. It means that virtues are established when the 4 parties of the 4 position foundation of heaven and earth become one. In heart, since the character means 10 and also 2, it symbolizes 12 entities: grandfather, grandmother, husband and wife, son and daughter, 6 people each composed of mind and body. When these 12 become one, they indicate virtue. And this is from a speech on April 13, 2002. All around the world today, the family is changing, and the traditional family structure is being challenged in many ways. With increasing industrialization and modernization, humanity's value systems are crumbling, and our standard of ethics and morality are in influx. In addition, selfish individualism, hedonism, and the worship of money are robbing us of our humanity. And increasingly, free sex and immorality are furthering the destruction of the family. How tragic is that we are faced with such trends. If nothing is done, in the future, humanity will not have any hope. No matter how social conditions may change, the importance of the relationship between parents and children is unshakable. And we're now on page 930. The value of the family does not change. I repeat, love is the source of people's happiness and joy, and the family is the foundation for happiness and peace. These days, when we prevent families from breaking down and teenagers from falling, we liberate God's sorrowful heart. It brings God the happiness that he could not experience in the Garden of Eden, where he could not intervene, open and close, to stop the fall. And this is from a speech on August 21, 1998. And now we have a third subtopic, is 527. A complete family has a spherical form. And we have here from Buddhism is a long explanation here. Thus, I have heard the Buddha was once staying near Rajagaha in the bamboo wood at the squirrel's feeding ground. Now at this time, young Sigala, a householder's son, rising betimes went forth from Rajagaha and with wet hair and wet garments and clasped hands uplifted, paid worship to the several quarters of the earth and sky, to the east, south, west, and north, to the nadir and the zenith. And the exalted one early that morning dressed himself, took a bowl and robe, and entered Rajagaha seeking alms. Now he saw young Sigala worshipping and spoke to him thus: Why, young householder, do you worship the several quarters of earth and sky? Sir, my father, when he was dying, said to me, Dear son, you should worship the quarters of the earth and sky. So I, sir, honoring my father's word, rise and worship in this way. But in the religion of the education of an educated man, the six quarters should not be worshipped thus. How then, sir, in the religion of an educated man, should the six quarters be worshipped? It would be excellent thing if the exalted one would so teach me the correct way. How, O young householder, does the educated man serve the six quarters? The following should be looked upon as the six quarters: parents as the east, teachers as the south, wife and children as the west, friends and companions as the north, servants as the nadir, and religious leaders as the zenith. In 5 ways should a child minister to his parents as the eastern quarter. Once supported by them, I will now be their support. I will perform duties incumbent on them. I will keep up the lineage and tradition of my family. I will make myself worthy of my heritage. The 5 ways parents thus ministered to as the eastern quarter by their child show love for him. They restrain him from vice. They exhort him to virtue. They train him to a profession. They contract a suitable marriage for him, and in due time they hand over to him his inheritance. Thus is the eastern quarter protected by him and made safe and secure. In 5 ways should pupils minister to their teachers as the southern quarter, by respectfully greeting them, by waiting upon them, by eagerness to learn, by personal service, and by attentiveness to their teaching. In 5 ways do teachers thus ministered to as the southern quarter by their pupils. Love their pupil. They train him in what they have been trained. They make him hold fast to moral precepts. They thoroughly instruct him in the lore of every subject. They speak well of him among his friends and companions. They counsel him for his safety and benefit. Thus is the southern quarter protected by him and made safe and secure. In 5 ways should a wife as Western Quarter be ministered to by her husband, by respect, by courtesy, by faithfulness, by handing over authority to her, by providing her with adornment. In 5 ways, thus, the wife ministered to by her husband as the Western Quarter love him. Her duties as well performed. He is hospitable to their relatives. She is faithful. She watches over the wages and goods which he brings home. She discharges all her business with skill and industry. Thus is the Western Quarter protected by him and made safe and secure. And this is now on page 931, a few more paragraphs. In 5 ways should one minister to his friends and companions as the Northern Quarter: by generosity, courtesy, and benevolence, by treating them as he treats himself, and by being as good as his word. In 5 ways do his friends and families thus ministered to as the Northern Quarter love him. They protect him when he is off his guard, and on occasions guard his property. They become a refuge in danger. They do not forsake him in his troubles, and they show consideration for his family. Thus is the Northern Quarter protected for him and made safe and secure. In 5 ways does a noble master minister to his servants and employees as the nadir: by assigning them work according to their strength, by supplying them with food and wages, by tending them in sickness, by sharing with them unusual delicacies, by granting them leave at times. And in 5 ways thus ministered to their master do servants and employees love him. They rise before him, they lie down to rest, after him. They are content with their wages, they do their work well, and they carry about his praise and good fame. Thus is the nadir by him protected and made safe and secure. In 5 ways should the lay minister to saints, priests, and religious leaders as the zenith: by affection in act and speech and mind, by keeping open house to them, and by supplying their temporal needs. Ministered to as the zenith, monks, priests, and religious leaders show their love for the layman in 6 ways. They restrain him from evil. They exhort him to good. They love him with kindly thoughts. They teach him what he has not heard. They correct and purify what he has heard. They reveal to him the way of heaven. Thus by him is the zenith protected and made safe and secure. And this is from Digha Nikaya 3, 185 to 91. Sigalovada Sutra from Buddhism. And we have a long explanation, teachings here of our father, Reverend Son Myung Moon. We will read it tomorrow. It's already 5:37. The teachings of our father tomorrow at page 931. So, is there anybody who wants to share about our second subtopic, which is the family as the school of love and virtue? Anyone? Yes, good morning, Reverend Oliver. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's all Buddhism, yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Mm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Reverend Oliver. So, Buddha, I think, uh, Siddhartha Gautama, or the Exalted One, was teaching this young man, Sigala, how to, uh, worship the several quarters of earth and sky. And uh, he said, how, O young householder, does the educated man serve the quarters? The following should be looked upon as the six quarters: the parents as the east, the teachers as the south, wife and children as the west, friends and friends and companions as the north, servants as the nether, and the religious leaders as the zenith. So I think that's the ministers to us, the zenith, monks, priests, and religious leaders show their love for the layman in six ways. I think that's what Reverend Oliver is mentioning about. They restrain him from evil, they exhort him to good, they love him with kindly thoughts, they teach him what he has not heard, they correct and purify what he has heard, and they reveal to him the way of heaven. Thus by him is the zenith protected and made safe and secure. That's the sixth quarter. So if we look at all the directions, the north, south, east, west, the nadir, maybe I think it's whatever is the other point below the sky, and then on the zenith, it's up there in the sky, like the horizon is where the religious leaders um,
Reverend Francis, could you
yes.
come closer to the mic? We can't hear you.
Oh, you cannot hear me? Okay, and for Father, uh, the core of concept of the universe is the concept of the family, which is what we are really discussing today. The family as a school of love and virtue, and the complete family has a spherical form. Thus, the concept of the universe, as with Buddhism, is the concept of the family. So heaven represents earth, or heaven represents parents, I'm sorry, and earth represents children. The east symbolizes man's, and west symbolizes woman. That is why when a woman, we'll be reading this tomorrow, I think, but I'm just reading it, gets married, she usually follows whenever her husband goes. Then nevertheless, they have equal value when the west reflects the sunlight, and it has the same value as the west, east, and the relationship of brothers is the same. When the older brother works on the same task, the younger brother naturally help him. So going back to our uh, reading also about Father, about the family as a school of love and virtue. Um, he explained here about uh, how the Chinese characters are are saying about the morals and the universal virtues acquired by training in the family. And the family is a textbook for attaining the kingdom of heaven. And God prepared it for human beings as an instruction manual for connecting with Him. So if you take His lesson and apply them to the nation, you become patriots. Apply them to the world, and you become saints. Apply them to heaven and earth, and you become the divine sons and daughters of God. And this is from a speech on December 18, 1985. So me and Reverend Sona were discussing about divine sons and daughters and Chungilguk yesterday. Yeah, it's really after Foundation Day where divine beings will come, and it starts with the blessed families, and then it propagates to all over the world. And if not only the true children will be divine sons and daughters, but also all the blessed members. And we can even, of course, pray directly to true parents and really, of course, while we pray always uh, to uh, to true parents, and before that we pray for our family. We pray for our uh, religious leaders, as we have read from Buddhism, and we pray from from what one of the true children has guided us. We pray all the way from true parents to the true children, the leaders, and then to all the way down to our family, and then our friends. If we pray like that, as we also learn from true parents, we pray for Jesus Christ also, after true parents, and all the saints and the champions who have done His will throughout the ages, and to the families. We can always reach to them, because when we pray now for our families, we can always apply it to the nation, as what we read today. We become patriots, and we apply them to the world. You become saints, and then apply them to heaven and earth. You become divine sons and daughters. So all these things we pray, and then if we do it in our family and we apply it to the world, it becomes very easy. If there is harmony in your family, you can also have order in your family. You can also even be a governor, as we have read here in Confucianism. What is meant by saying, in order to establish moral order in his state, one must first guide his family properly. In this, one cannot convince others of what he cannot convince the members of his own family. Therefore, the wise governor does not need to go beyond his family in order to find the principles needed for governing his state. So here he finds his own son's respectful obedience to his father, with which a governor should be served, and affection for one's relatives, with which higher officials should be treated, and paternal kindness, with which all people should be regarded. So he will treat them as family. So it's all, intertwined. And then, of course, Father mentions here in his teaching that the family is the most important school in human life. for it is the school of love. Yeah, that's all I can share today. Anybody else who wants to share about our reading today? Anyone? So we'll be reading tomorrow the teachings of our Father under the third subtopic, a complete family has a spherical form. And if there's no other reflection, let's all rise and have unison prayer. Our most beloved Heavenly Parents, we're so thankful for these reading today. The family is a school of life and virtue, and a complete family has a spherical form. We pray, our Heavenly Parents, that we can share this with others as we have been inspired by your words today. We pray that even the exalted one, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, has ways to really worship the six quarters of the earth and sky. We pray that, of course, one of them is the wife and children and the family, and our parents, and of course our officials and our religious leaders. We pray that in the divine principle is complete, that as the central point, the seventh point, even the lucky seven, is within us, that when we project this to all the points on the north and south, east and west, above and below, we have a sphere, and we pray, our Heavenly Parents, that we can really always be stable with our relationships, if we do it in our family, if we do it always with harmony and peace and love, we can always project it even to our place of work, in our place of our residence, to our government officials, and to even our countries as a whole, and to this world. We pray, our Heavenly Parents, that we can fulfill this pledge also that we always say every 8 days in our Anshi Il, to be patriots, to be sons and daughters of God, and divine sons and daughters of God, and we serve on true love. And we pray, our Heavenly Parents, that we can always be your instruments, always to bring about peace, harmony, and love to this world. And we pray all of this in all our names and in my name, Athanasius Francis C. Catalan, blessed scheduled family. Aju, aju, aju. Uri yesowanun ton il. Numero sowanun ton il. Imo son bacio soton il. Tom il io, true grandchildren, and all our brothers and sisters. Good morning. Good morning. Have a nice and wonderful Sunday. We'll see you here at 10 a.m. And
Thank you.
yes, Reverend Ezra. Thank you, Reverend Oliver. Everyone, I see you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you and goodbye. Have a good day.
Yes, have a good day too. Our sister from Atlanta, Georgia.
How do you feel that you must feel happy and proud that the Pope visited the Philippines?
Oh yes, that was weeks ago, yeah. And now we pray for, of course, now there are many people now in the complex in Metro Manila. I the capacity of that sports complex is 60,000. We pray that they can accommodate 144,000 couples. So that's we're talking about 288,000 people plus the guests and their families.
What's the date for that event?
That's today, February 1, 2000.
Oh,
Yes.
wonderful. Yes.
I think they're almost, yeah.
Also say that at Sunday service. That would be wonderful.
Yes.
Thank
Okay, Mansei Mansei.
you. Say.
Yes. See you. Bye bye.